Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Dr. Lukin of Lukin Center for Psychotherapy. And today we are going to have a conversation with Kristen Estrella, who is a specialist in a particular type of child treatment. It's called parent-child interaction therapy. And today is the exciting part where we actually get to learn some of the skills that are being used in this type of treatment. And I'm here with Kristen, who is going to take us through this. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so today we're going to learn some of the core skills used in PCIT, and they're called PRIDE for short. Each letter stands for a specific strategy, and these are really the heart of PCIT because they really teach parents how to manage behaviors with positive attention alone. And again, these are some of the same skills that play therapists use to build a strong relationship with children and to also encourage children to lead the play. So now I'm going to go over the PRIDE skills. Each letter stands for a specific skill. So P stands for praises. There are two forms of praises, unlabeled and labeled. Unlabeled comes in phrases like awesome, great job, and these are really nice and they make kids feel good, but they're really not clear on what your child did specifically that, kind of earned the gratitude. So, and because children move from one task to another so quickly, by the time we say great job, they have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
So instead, we really try to put all of our attention and focus into what we call labeled praises. And that's in the phrase of like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing your ideas with me. I really love your gentle hands. So we're being really clear on what your child did that we're so thankful for. Right. So I'm going to actually have you be the child right now, and I'm going to be the adult, and I'll show you what a few labeled praises look like.
Great.
So you're going to play. Yeah.
Let me do this. Let me get ready.
I love that. Get in the mood.
Get in the mood.
And I'm really glad you brought Wolfie, which is actually a toy from your childhood, right? So really channeling that inner child.
That's right. That's right. That's
so
kind.
Get in the groove of playing.
That's right. That's what we're going to try to do. A little bit of play, and I think it's worthwhile for adults as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to play, and I'll do the rest.
Look at that! I haven't seen you in a while. How do we used to play?
I love how gentle you're being with Wolfie, especially since you haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah, we used to. I think we used to have like a conversation about what was going on during the day. That was pretty cool.
And I love how you're talking to him so softly and calmly. That's really sweet.
Yeah. He used to be my companion, right? When we used to go somewhere, I would used to take him.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in kindergarten. I had some trouble staying there, so I remember Wolfie would accompany me, and when he was there, it would make me feel better.
I love when you really share these things with me, and how you're really even rubbing his back so gently. That makes Wolfie feel really good.
Yeah.
So that's labeled praises in a nutshell.
Okay, so they're very specific.
Very specific. So did you get the sense that you knew what you were doing, that I was like appreciative and noting?
Yes. It made me, even though I was focusing on what I was doing, it really helped me. That's so interesting because almost in this kind of I don't know even how to say it, like in a non-focused way, but I felt good about doing something specific.
Yeah, and to be honest, I felt good about what you were doing too. I was like, this is really sweet, right? So we're kind of like sharing in the joy together.
Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah, that felt great doing it and great hearing it, and it did kind of help me focus on the things that I was doing, and it being part of this and also being part of this. This was really nice.
Yeah, and to be honest, like labeled praises really help adults build the capacity to note the good. Because to be honest, our brain, just naturally how it works, we tend to focus on things that really bother us and really inadvertently ignore the good. So this is a really way to like flip that script for kids and for parents as well.
Yeah, I know that's obviously as a parent myself, it's a work in progress, but it's a really great reminder for all of us to can we pause and reflect and notice some of the things that the kids are doing that we really like.
Yeah, and speaking of reflecting, that's actually the next letter in PRIDE, and reflections are essentially paraphrasing or repeating what your child's saying based off of appropriate talk. So essentially, if your child was saying, oh, I'm building a dollhouse, right? You would say, yeah, you're really working hard on building that dollhouse, right? So you're just kind of letting them know that you're really listening. It's actually a skill that we use all the time as therapists with people of all ages because it shows that we're interested. It's letting them lead the conversation. So for this one, just like before, I'm actually going to need you to talk because reflections are based off of speech. So you can play with Wolfie and I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay. All right. Wow. And I remember we would also try to make different paths where he could go and make his own little ways.
Yeah, so you make a lot of paths with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he would used to kind of go all around, and I remember we would sleep together, and then we would kind of play in the bed and make like a fort, and then he would kind of climb over it.
Whoa, so you guys were sleeping in the bed together, making forts, climbing over it.
Yep.
And that's really Reflections in a nutshell.
All right.
Just letting you know I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good to be understood, and I'm sure it's true for kids as well.
Yeah, it really is. Because we're not, I think a lot of parents want to kind of jump in and share, but just letting kids kind of take the lead and share what they want to share, whatever comes up for them. And it's a way for parents to kind of follow that.
It does that. The kind of one thing that was coming up. It makes it so much easier for me to take the lead when you're doing it. I'm not feeling the pressure of responding to you or engaging with you. Then I could say like, hey, do you want to play with me, or maybe I want to do something else. It just kind of allows for that internal space, which is very comfortable.
Yeah, because when we think about it, we have kids follow directions all the time. When they wake up in the morning, they have to go to school and follow directions all day, right? They have to follow directions when they get home from school and do homework, for dinner, for bedtime, right? So this is really their plays like their one time where they get to really lead and just share whatever they want to share without prompts or without structure.
Great.
So the next skill is I, and that stands for imitate, appropriate play. So it's just essentially copying what your child's doing. So for example, if your kids were drawing a tree, you would draw a tree. And this really lets kids lead and feel like they're in charge, again, in the one area that's really appropriate for them to be in charge. And this really increases their imitation of things that you do, because kids learn through modeling.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to have you play and I'll show what imitation looks like.
Okay, great. Well, let's go exploring. I know we used to,
with you.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time, and we would go all around and seeing what we have. And look, there's meeting Mr. Cow.
Hi, Mr. Cow.
And then who else do we have here? Oh, we have Mrs. Piggy. Oh, hello, Mrs. Piggy.
Hi, Mrs. Piggy.
All right. And then I see there's somebody hiding behind. Who is that? Ooh, Mr. Bear.
And that's really it.
Oh, very cool.
Just, the nice thing about imitation is you don't even have to speak. You can literally just follow along.
Huh.
Yep.
And again, it kind of makes me feel like you're following what I'm doing, makes me feel comfortable. It makes me also become a little bit creative because it allows for that space.
Yeah, it's very much like a we and us rather than a you and I in that parent-child relationship. Right. So It's really literally helping you get on the same level as your child.
Very cool.
So D stands for describe appropriate behavior, and it's very similar to what sports narrators do when they're giving us a play-by-play of a game. So if you guys were playing restaurant, you might describe what they're doing. So you'd say, oh, you're flipping the pancakes. Now you're putting the pancakes on the plate. Now you're walking the plate to the table. So you're really just narrating what they're doing, and this really helps kids know that you're really actively listening. It helps with attention and focus. Because in the meditation and mindfulness world, there's a piece about noting, right? So when we note things, it pulls our attention to the present. So when we narrate and note what children are doing, it pulls their attention to the present, which is really good for kids that are a little bit on the hyper side or a little bit more impulsive. It's part of mindfulness.
Wow.
So I will have you play and I'll describe what you're doing.
Okay, great. Wow. All right. I think let's continue on our fantastic journey, and let's also kind of clean you up a little bit because I haven't really played with you.
Up Wolfie.
It's
you're rubbing Wolfie's beard.
Yeah, we have to keep you, since you're an older gentleman.
You're cleaning the other side of his beard.
Yeah, we have to keep you, and then he's here too. We gotta put that back in there.
You're putting that back in there, the string.
All right, let's see. Let's examine you a little bit. See how you've been.
Now you're examining Wolfie.
Yeah. Okay. Gotta fix you up here a little bit.
Oh gosh, yeah. You're carefully making sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And that's describe.
Okay. Very cool.
So E stands for enjoy, and that's just showing genuine interest in your child while playing. So that can be in the form of laughing, giving a nice gentle rub on their back, or verbally saying, like, I'm really enjoying my time with you. And that's because when there's been a lot of stress and strain in the relationship, it's more important than ever for kids to really hear that we unconditionally love them and that we're really enjoying our time with them. And this really increases warmth in the relationship. So I know it's basic, but again, really important. So I'm going to have you play and I'll show you what warmth looks like.
Oh, okay.
Enjoyment.
All right. It's not hard when it's with Wolfie.
Yeah, I know. Wolfie really does bring the enjoy aspect.
That is so true. That is so true. Oh.
Constantine, I am really enjoying this time, just seeing how close you are with Wolfie. Just our time together. It's been really special, especially since, I know we normally see each other virtually, but it's really nice to actually just see you in person and have this time together.
Yeah, same here. Thank you. Oh.
And that's it.
All right, very cool. Very nice.
So that's our pride skills in a nutshell. Really quickly, I want to go over what we should do if there are some minor behaviors that kind of pop up in play. And that's where we use strategic attention. So essentially, with strategic attention, we want to avoid any verbal or nonverbal reaction to these behaviors, such as like whining or if, they're maybe jumping up and down. And instead, we want to strategically use our attention to note the good and really amplify the good. So, for example, if you were building a house with your child and they maybe starting to whine a little bit, you would just maybe say something like, I'm really enjoying our time together. I love how you're just even sitting with me right now. This is really awesome. So again, you're just trying to amplify the good. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you so much, Kristen. That really kind of describes the skills that are being used. One question I do have is, what would you suggest if the parent, him or herself, is at the end of the day is struggling with like using those skills and has their own emotional reaction? What do you suggest to do in those moments?
Yeah, so I think that, there's a few things, right? Like I'm usually in the parent's ear trying to help them with their own coping skills. But to be honest, the whole point of all these skills, it actually really does, it also creates a release for parents as well, because it's really helping them slow down and kind of like, focus on what your child's doing, which really can take away from maybe all the stressors and things going on in your day, right? It's really a moment to be present. And when we're present, we're at our happiest because we're just being as we are, right? So I think it lends itself to being able to help with those challenges in parenting naturally.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And even when you and I kind of role play, I felt it myself that it kind of focuses some of the positivity, lets us ground and makes it easier just to even interact.
Yeah, and it's something that we practice, throughout the week too. So like, I have parents do special time each day. So that's 5 minutes of where they're playing with their child. So this is also something they're practicing daily. So it also really helps like channel this sense of calm as they continue to practice it. Because definitely in the beginning, there might be some frustrations.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much, Kristen.
No problem. Thanks again for having me.
And thank you guys for joining. I hope you learned a little bit more about some of the specific skills that are being used in PCIT. Thanks so much for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like what you just saw, please feel free to check out our videos in our library and also hit the subscribe button so you can check out our future videos.